The Sony SS-CS5s. You've heard it a million times over from other channels on YouTube and beyond. These are the speakers that you should get for under $200. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not always the case for everybody. Today, we'll be discussing 5 reasons why you should not buy these speakers. Or not why you should not buy speakers, there are 5 reasons just to consider if you're in the under $200 market for speakers. Hi, I'm Grant with Tech and Grant, and today might have a little bit of a controversial one on our hands, and honestly one of my more well thought out videos. So let's just get right into it. First off, the first reason, price. Price is very important for everybody. You've got a budget, and you really need to stick to it. Blowing your budget on an audio system is rewarding, of course, but also not everybody has the means to do so. So in terms of price, these MSRP is $168. That's not expensive in the realm of audio equipment, and for what you get, it's a pretty decent price. But with that said, these are often on sale for $88 or less, so definitely wait it out. At $88, these are hard not to recommend, to be quite frank with you. But for $168, there are actually some pretty good competitors in the market. Maybe not with the same sound signature, of course, but with other pros and cons that you should definitely consider whenever making a speaker purchase, especially whenever you're putting down over $100. You want to get a good experience. The second reason, aesthetics. They're not necessarily bad looking speakers. Even with the grills on, they're not bad. I'm not a particularly big fan of speakers with grills on, but there's worse offenders than these. But I do think they look decent with the grills off. However, one thing where they kind of fall apart is the whole entire cabinet is just flat black plastic. It's really got very little style to it. I think the cone looks good. And this raised plastic bit definitely helps give it some dimensionality to it. But overall, there are much better speakers not really much better speakers, but much better looking speakers on the market, especially in this price range. For example, let me grab one of my examples here. I need 2 hands for this, the big boy. You've got the Yamaha S803s. Now, I don't have one of the particularly good-looking ones. I've got the black one. It was the cheapest one that I found whenever I was buying these speakers. But as you can see, the grill is much nicer. It's got this more like a heather gray type material, and on the whites and the walnuts, they actually have a much better-looking grill than this, in my opinion, at least. It's got some wood accents on the bottom there on the base. And taking this off, you can see that they put a lot more thought into the design of these speakers, for sure. At least in terms of aesthetics, it's got a pretty good looking cone. The wave guide has this beautiful wood finish on it, and it's also front ported if that's a consideration for you. So I'll go ahead and get this put back down and get my other Sony back up here. Just give me a second. So while these aren't necessarily ugly speakers, the flat black kind of industrial look, it doesn't really go with everybody's aesthetic, and your space might have a lot of wood accents in it, and in which case the Yamahas are a great option. They're actually a pretty good sounding speaker. I don't have a review of them yet, but I do plan on having it up sometime soon. But yeah, definitely a good looking speaker. Fits in with, especially with their range of colors. They got the black with the wood finish, the white, and also the walnut. I think the walnut's actually a very beautiful speaker. I wish I could have gotten those, but they were just not on sale, and I wasn't paying full price for them. So, on to our next point. These are very good full range speakers. However, they are lacking on the low end. If you really like your low end, you're definitely going to need a subwoofer with these speakers. Honestly, I would say these need a subwoofer, even if you're not big on bass. Yes, these are very punchy. The bass is very tight on these, but there's not a lot of boom or fullness to it. Um, Even in a small room, it's very noticeable that these are lacking in bass. They're not lacking in bass detail, just kind of volume and fullness. Now, if you were looking for a speaker that you wouldn't need a subwoofer with, at least in a small room, got an option for you. Get that out. The ELAC BS41s. Personally, I love these speakers. They go very well without a subwoofer, but if you do have a subwoofer, it does complement them very well. These are MSRP at $149, which is very close to the Sony's. And if you're just looking to get only speakers, you can't get a subwoofer, you won't get a subwoofer, or hell, buying these at MSRP for $168, and if you get the matching subwoofer, the Sony, it's the SS-CS8, I think, for the subwoofer. No, I think that's a center channel. It's the SS-CS9 for the subwoofer. The subwoofer is another $168, I'm pretty sure. It might be a little bit less than that, but usually when it's on sale, it's also the same price as the speakers. You're shelling out at that point $200 to $300 when you could have just gotten this, and you would be very happy with the bass performance on these. And also, they've got good detail. The frequency response is pretty good. It's not as good on the high end, but this is a good sounding speaker. I think a lot of people would be pretty pleased with how this one sounds, especially if you don't have a subwoofer. And if you're just comparing these side by side, and you're into maybe hip hop, electronic music, or just anything with a pretty that goes pretty deep, I think you'd be much happier with these than with the Sonys. Now, if you're looking for detail, these are your king, especially at this price point. All right, and the fourth reason why you might not consider buying these is that they're rear ported. If you need to put these flush up against the wall, or if you're mounting them on a wall, these are really not a good option. It really closes off the sound whenever you have it pushed up against the wall. Makes the bass a lot less clear. You really do want to distance these at least a foot, maybe a foot and a half from your wall, just to give them room to breathe and open up. And every rear port speaker is that way. So if that's a consideration for you, I'd recommend something that's front ported, such as we saw earlier, the Yamaha S803s. It's just a consideration if you really, really need your speaker up against the wall, or for something like a outdoor application. I wouldn't even put these outside anyway. It's not rated for being outside, but if you do need something like that, this wouldn't be a good fit for you. All right, and the fifth and final reason is, quite honestly, if you live in a decently populated area, you can get some pretty good secondhand deals on speakers. I've never seen these pop up in my area, at least not yet, but they are selling at Best Buy now, so they will probably start popping up. But if you live in a decently populated area, you can probably snatch a pretty good secondhand deal on some older but still very respectable speakers. For example, a very popular speaker in its time, and still popular today, even though I'm pretty sure it's not being manufactured anymore. I need to flip my notes. The Pioneer SP-BS22LR. Now, do these sound like the Sonys? No. Do they sound better than the Sonys? In some ways, yes. But secondhand, you can get these typically $60 or less. And for $60 or less, this is a damn good speaker. Go ahead and take the grill off here. Sorry, the mouse are at the bottom. Along the middle. Professional quality over here. Only the best on this channel. But as you can see, it's got I think it's a 4-inch woofer and a 1-inch tweeter with a nice waveguide around it. This is an Andrew Jones designed speaker, and Honestly, it's a very, very good speaker. These were MSRP 129 when they were new, and they're getting pretty up in age now, and people sell them for $60 or less on your local Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Craigslist, or wherever you find good used deals in your market. There are also other speakers to consider. There's plenty of vintage speakers. Honestly, just look around. There's a lot of different sounds that you can hear and experience for around the same price as these Sonys, even on sale. On sale, this is 88. I got this for 60. Sure, these are a little bit beat up. The binding posts are missing the screws on one speaker, but hey, I got a pretty dang good deal on them, at least I think. And it's just something to consider, because yes, these will give you a good budget audiophile experience, but there's plenty of experiences to be had out there with a wide range of speakers. So I'll get this put back down here. So there you go. 5 reasons why you shouldn't buy these Sony speakers. Now, with all that said, I do also recommend these speakers, especially if they're on sale for $88 or less. I think it's a great entryway to get into the audiophile world, especially if you can get a receiver on sale or a receiver secondhand. I've been running a $40 Denon receiver that I got through somebody on Facebook Marketplace for quite a while now. And before that, I was running a $70 Sony receiver. And even with both of them, hey, you get good experiences with this speaker. I do recommend a subwoofer with these, though. I enjoy these very much with my 8-inch sub in my small office. Without it, they're still good speakers, but I do miss the extra frequency response. So yeah, a bit more of a controversial take today. I know these are very popular, and they are popular for a reason. I highly recommend them. But anyway, that's it for the video today. I am Grant with Tech and Grant, signing off. But before that, a little bit of an update for the channel. I think in the last video I said I was going to try to upload 2 times a week. I'm changing that to once a week. Just upload on Wednesdays. I think that'll be good for me. Gives me time in the week to think up video ideas. This one was a bit more different than my usual. The last one also was, and that didn't go over well apparently. It's got like 2 dislikes and barely any watch time. I don't even know how you dislike a video without even watching it. But it was definitely a pretty rushed video. I think that was very apparent because I was rushing it, to be honest. And I didn't prepare very well for having a 2-ohm speaker. I didn't even know I bought a 2-ohm speaker. I thought it was the 4-ohm one, but Crutchfield doesn't sell the 4-ohm version of that kicker subwoofer. So that was really sad whenever I realized that. And I was like, oh, well, shit. Now my review's kind of tainted, but I just wanted it out there. At least I wanted it for me. I'm probably going to end up unlisting the video because it is pretty poor quality in retrospect. And even at the time, I knew it was pretty poor quality, but I just wanted to get something out for the week. But yeah, I'm going to try to be uploading once a week on Wednesdays. And I've got a lot more speakers to review. As you saw, I've got 2 more that I haven't reviewed. I also have the Yamaha S801s because it came with the S803s in like the home theater pack for $240. So it was cheaper to do it that way than just buy the 2 separate sets of speakers. And then I've also got a very old speaker from 1996 that I picked up on Facebook Marketplace for very cheap. And I'm pretty excited to review that one, but I want to get a better setup for it before I do so. It doesn't really work in my current setup because it's a very big speaker. But yeah, next review probably actually won't be a speaker review. It's likely going to be something else in the tech field, and I know what it is, but you don't. It's a printer. It's the cheapest printer on Amazon. It's going to be a fun review, I think. Even though printers aren't really that exciting, but it's the cheapest one on Amazon. I just thought that'd be a little bit of fun, a little bit of a fun title at least, draw the people in. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and my content. again, I've said it in the channel intro. This isn't really for you. It's more for me. But I have been enjoying the interaction with the few comments I've been getting, and my 2 subscribers. I do love my 2 subscribers. My first one of which was, let me shout you out in case you're watching for some reason. Probably because you're subscribed. Oh, I wrote it down. Oh, Suwat T, my first subscriber. I wrote it down, so I'm going to remember. If you're watching, give me a comment. You left a comment on the video when you're subscribed, and I really appreciated that. So, yeah. Sorry for the false outro earlier, but add a little bit more length onto this video just to make it a bit more equal with my other rambly ones. Anyway, I'm Grant with Tech and Grant, signing off.